Hello everybody and welcome to Sin City Living. My name is Jason. I'll be bringing you today's episode. As always, please hit the like and subscribe buttons and our usual shout out to our patrons. We appreciate all the tips and support. If you're curious about it, just go ahead and check out the description of the video. And also, a new thing that we are going to be trying out this week is that we are going to start posting exclusive content for our patrons. One video a week per tier, so three videos per week that we're going to attempt to post. Hopefully things work out well for us on that one. So for today's episode, we are going to kind of do an offshoot of one that we shot last week. It's kind of funny that that we had a fan request the pressing of the sister numbers, and then we go and shoot that video because this week I actually have had a player. He's a quasi-regular. We see him about every 6 months or so. I'd forgotten about him until he came back in. But that's what he does. He presses the sister numbers. Now, he does generally tend to start out a little bit higher than most people would be comfortable with. But I thought I would go over what he does, since it's an actual player actually playing something that we filmed last week, a strategy. So what does he do? Well, even if he plays the pass line, and he does if he's shooting or just for some reason decides he feels like playing the pass line, because he doesn't every time, even if he plays the pass line, he still bets every number. He still places every number. Still places every number. So a lot of times he will start out with 160 across, including the point, whatever the point may be. Okay? And he does the sister number press. Generally, he's going to do 1 unit, but he looks at 1 unit as what we have right here. He's not looking at 1 unit as $5 on these outside numbers and $6 on the 6 and 8. He's looking at green. So $25 is 1 unit for him on the 4, 5, 9, and 10. $30 is 1 unit for him on the 6 and 8. So I'm just going to show some of the moves that he does. If the 6 rolls, he will of course throw in a green and say press the 6 and 8. Not a problem. And we're going to press the 6 and 8. 6 hits again, and he's going to say press the 6 and 8 1 unit. Now, this one, if you have watched our press moves videos, you may know or have figured out on your own that these press moves with the green and the red is identical to the basic press moves with the red and the white. So when he wants to press them both 1 unit, he's going to get 10 change, and we're going to go ahead and press them up, and they both go from $60 to $90. Now, his next one after that is where things start getting a little bit interesting, and oftentimes the easiest thing is to just cut it out into the come and build the bet up. So if it hits again, it's going to pay 105, and he's going to say take the 6 and the 8 up to 120. Okay, not a problem. Got 120 there. He will throw in 5. We'll ask him to. He's going to get his $50 in change. It's actually $45 in change, but since he threw in 5, it becomes 50. Okay. Now, if these hit again, this happened to me today. If these hit again, this is where it is very, very useful to know the change and have a box that is paying attention. Okay. So if these hit, it pays 140. He's going to say go to 150, or he's going to say press the 6 and 8, however he wants to phrase it. But he wants to go to 150. Okay. In this case, what I tend to do is I tend to cut out just his change. He's going to get $80 in change. It pays 140. He's pressing them 30 each. So that's $60. So the 140 minus 60 goes to 80 change. Then I'm just going to set up his bets for him. Okay. If you are a break-in, I would not recommend doing this. I would recommend cutting out 140 into the come, and then slowly build the bet up from there. But I would cut out that 140 in green. But once you have made it to a tier 3, tier 4 casino, then I would definitely recommend doing just knowing the change and cutting it out from there. And then again, this happened to me today. Hits again. He says, take me to 180 each. Okay, well, this is again where you should just know the change. Change is going to be 115. He's going to get 115, and we're going to make both his bets look like 180. Now, this is actually the farthest I've seen him manage to get on any particular roll. But if you look at it, he has $250 sitting there. So he has already made his 160 across plus some profit, and that's assuming that he hasn't hit other numbers. So he was definitely ahead on this particular roll by the time we got to this point. Now, if this were to hit again, right, he's at 180. Next, he would go to 210 each. Either one of these is going to pay 210. So all you're going to do is you're going to cut out the 210, and then you're going to build your bet and give him the rest. Okay. Once you get to this point, just cut out the payouts into the come and break it down from there. For instance, the next one is going to pay 245. Okay. Now he's gonna press these up to 240. So what you do is cut them out into the come and build your bets. That's it. Don't try and get fancy with it. Don't try and get crazy with it. Just cut it out of the come and build your bets. So what about the 5 and 9? What is he going to do? Well, this is the one where he has a couple different possibilities depending on what rolls. Now, initially, it's the very beginning of it is where you get into these what can happen and what are we going to do. And it just depends on what rolls the second time. So the first time, it's going to pay, let's say 5 rolls, okay? And we're going to move this point, make it an 8. Let's say 5 rolls. He will say press the 5 to 50, put the change on the 9, take the 9 to 35. Yes, he could throw in $15. I mean, he threw in a quarter for the 6 and 8 when those press up, but he generally doesn't. Now, it's going to depend on what happens from here. If the 5 were to roll again, he would say take them both to 75. One short. And boom, done. Okay? But what if the 9 rolls? Well, if the 9 rolls, that's going to pay 49. And at this point, he's going to just take it to 50 and have them both at 50. Now, when they're both at 50, that's the point where he starts going up to 75 each, then 100 each. Now, from here, he typically does not go up by a green the next time it hits. Oftentimes, he'll go up by $50. So, it's going to pay 140. 100 pays 140. It doesn't matter which one hits, they pay the same. He's going to collect his 40, and he's going to take them up to 150 each. 150 each is going to be 210, and that's usually the point where he then goes to 200, then he'll go to 250 each, so on and so forth, and progress up from there. 4 and 10 are even more basic because he will throw the dollar in for sure for this. So he'll throw a dollar in as one of them hit and say take them both to 50. You got it. The next one that hits, he may or may not throw in $2. Depends on whether or not he has it. But it doesn't matter because it doesn't affect his press either way. He's going to go to 75 apiece. Okay. Now for the next one, he's going to throw in, generally he's going to throw in $5. He's going to pay $151 with $5. It pays $146, then you add in the $5. And he's going to say, take me to 100 each. Now from here, again, at this point, as things hit, you start paying them out into the come and just slowly build up your bets. Okay, either one of these hit, pays $195. And here is, again, where he kind of runs into a quandary. He may go up to $150 each. He may go up to $125 each. It's going to really depend upon him and what he feels like doing. But we'll say he goes up to $150 each. That'll make it easier. Because, again, he can switch this up either way. And then for $150, he's going to keep on going, probably $50 at a time, so on and so forth until he either hits table max, which I have never seen him do, or the 7 outcomes. I would actually really enjoy dealing to this person if he managed to catch a 20 or 30 minute roll. I really, really would. The only downside to this particular strategy is that it doesn't come up very often, especially at those units. It almost never comes up. I don't know anybody that dual presses in the green, except possibly the 6 and 8. Sometimes I will see that, but I don't see people that dual press every roll. I see people that dual press, but not every single roll. So the only downside to this particular strategy is when you get to a newer dealer, because it can bring the game grinding to a halt while they're trying to figure out what's going on and what to do. They're paying everything out in the cum. They're bringing everything out. They're slowly building up their beds. Plus, they're a little bit nervous because they probably don't deal with black all that often because, again, they're a newer dealer. So that's the only downside to this. That, and you've got a lot of money at risk. You've got a lot of money at risk. Point out crushes you, or point, really a 7 out within the first 2 or 3 rolls, or even the first 4 or 5 rolls is absolutely crushing, especially if those rolls are spread out. If it's the same numbers, if the same number pairs are hitting, then it's not as bad if a 7 comes the 4th or 5th roll. But otherwise, this is pretty crushing, or at least it could be, and especially because he doesn't always do 160 across. Sometimes he does 320 across, including, and then just immediately goes up from there. 75, 75, 75, 75, 90, 90, and then keeps on going. So it's a very, very aggressive strategy while still collecting a little bit. So I like it for that. I like aggression. And it is fun to deal with and lets you do presses that you don't do very often. So yes, this is a real world usage and real world betting strategy of something that we already filmed for you guys last week. So hope you guys find this interesting. As always, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, and we will catch you guys next time. Bye now.